We're back here in the press box at Evan E. Davis Field. It is Media Day for the University of Rio Grande women's soccer program. I'm Randy Payton, the Sports Information Director. We're joined by head coach Brooke Perkins, also players Charlotte Pilgrim and Morgan Nutter. Coach, we'll start with you. We mentioned first year at the University of Rio Grande, and I guess question number one, you got to be excited to get going.
Right, for sure. Super excited to get going. A little over a week into training camp and just really excited with the potential that we have this year and just to get games rolling. Honestly, we open this weekend at West Virginia State, our first scrimmage, so really excited for that and just the girls to get on the field and start playing.
Your first year as a head coach, I know you've had some coaching experience, but your first year as a head coach, what's been the biggest obstacle thus far? I would assume getting settled in and getting all the little stuff in order.
Yeah, I would say getting settled in, honestly. July 17th was my first day here. I think today is, the 16th? Something like that. So I've been here for less than a month. The girls have been here for a little over 10 days. So just getting settled in, getting to know the team, and then just being able to hit the ground running.
We'll ask this question to the ladies. Obviously a lot of change going on in the program, adapting to a new coach. Morgan, what's that been like for you?
I think it's been pretty good so far. I mean, Brooke is really organized, so she's really, everything's been laid out for us. Everything's clear communicated, so we know the expectations from her, and so we know what we have to do to get things done for the season.
Charlotte?
Yeah, I think the same as Morgan. We have what we've been given, and we can work from that, and we know that the door's always open to go in, find out more, and she's happy to give us more information as we need it.
Your style of coaching, kind of discuss it. I know when you and I talked when you first got the job, you said you're not really a yeller, so to speak. What can the folks expect from you?
Honestly, I'm more of a one-on-one individual feedback kind of coach. I think the girls can attest to that. I'm not a big yeller unless there's a time and a place for it. So I've gotten into them a few times so far, not too many, but that's not how I want to communicate. I want to communicate forward and at the front end rather than having to get into them and things like that. So more of an individual feedback, pulling players aside and giving them feedback on how to be better and execute things how I want things to be executed.
Coming into this position, what's your expectations for this first season? I know that you said you know a little bit about the conference. Obviously, you're learning about your personnel. What are you looking for? And pick number 5 in the preseason poll.
Right. I've told the girls going into conference, I think it's important to focus on just getting better every day. So we're looking at 21 on our roster right now. We're pretty thin, already had a few injuries, but that's not going to hold us back. My expectations are really high. I've told all my players that. They can attest to that. I have high expectations, but I hold myself and Chloe to those expectations as well. So really just looking to compete and go out and do the best that we can every day. I don't think wins and losses necessarily define the culture of our team.
Any kind of pressure on you guys in terms of there were some key players from last year's team that are no longer here, that have graduated or whatever, and this is a program that over the last 2 years has reached the conference championship game come tournament time. Any kind of pressure going into the new season?
Hopefully the only pressure is that we make it back to the conference championship and to actually win it this year, hopefully. I mean, I think that's the biggest pressure. We made it last year, and no one thought we were, and I'm glad we did, but hopefully this year we'll make it again and we can close it.
Charlotte, what's your take on that?
With the players leaving, I think we're quite lucky that we have quite a lot of players who are the same and have come back from last year, so hopefully we can build on the chemistry that we built, especially in the spring season, having gone through all the injuries we did in the season, and just build on top of that and come in hopefully where we left off last year.
Coach, kind of talk about your schedule. As I said earlier, you said that you were somewhat familiar with the teams in this conference, and obviously there's some tough non-conference games as well.
Right. So I've told the girls obviously the expectation they have is to win the conference championship, but I think taking every game one game at a time, I think it's really important that we go into conference with a 50% record. If we can go in with a winning record, I think it's much easier to compete in the conference with a winning record. But yeah, just really looking forward to, I mean, our scrimmages I think are going to tell a lot about what the rest of the season's going to look like, and then moving forward from there.
Morgan, how do you benefit from having now a head coach who's a former goalie herself, and you also coming back from injury last year? Kind of talk about getting ready for the new season.
I mean, definitely having a goalie coach is beneficial. I mean, she knows exactly what I see and has gone through exactly what I'm going through. So, I mean, she can give us tips and advice that'll really help us and gear some more drills towards us. And, I mean, we had Louisa last year, but she was an assistant coach. But it's really nice to have a goalkeeper coach as a head coach.
Charlotte, this question for you. When the season began last year, of course, you're on the team and you play a little bit, but your role kind of got bigger and bigger as the year went on. Kind of talk about what you're looking for personally this year.
I'm looking for, hopefully, to start where I left off last year, so playing mainly as much as I can possibly, and hopefully not having the same problems I had towards the end of the season. And I think that so far what we've been told and the confidence, I'm a player that plays with confidence, so being given like the confidence and the little boost in this one-on-one coaching has really helped me, even in pre-season, I think, sort out my touch that was a bit off when I showed up last week.
One final question for you, Coach. What have you seen out of this team thus far in the preseason? Have you liked what you've seen thus far?
So I told Chloe from the get-go, I'm really, really pleased with the effort, and I think fitness may be on the little bit of the low end, but we're going to get there. I think the easiest way to get fitness in soccer is to play, and I'm a firm believer in that. I would say 80% of our team passed all 3 fitness tests. Super, super pleased with that. But overall, the quality has been there. We've had a few sessions, not so great, but they've picked up from session to session. Intensity's been there. Super pleased with our core group of girls.
Well, there you go. That's a look at the 2023 University of Rio Grande women's soccer team here on Media Day for the River States Conference.